And before we get into today's video, I gotta come on here and be a little sentimental for you guys, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for helping me get to that 5,000 subscriber mark. Obviously, I would not be able to do it without you guys, and the fact that I'm still doing YouTube and have been able to get this far, and 5,000 people have said, I like this guy enough to listen to him talk about basketball. It really means a lot, and it feels surreal, and I hope we can get 5,000 more. And now we can get into today's video. After some very ugly struggles in the beginning of the new year, the Miami Heat are starting to play basketball at a very high level at the perfect time. They have won 9 out of their last 11 ball games. They are currently on a 5-game winning streak, and they are also on a 4-game road winning streak as well. And we just talked about how important it was for the Miami Heat going into the All-Star break, getting those 2 wins over the Milwaukee Bucks and the Philadelphia 76ers on a back-to-back as underdogs. I can't talk about how big time that was for this team. So they get that momentum going into the All-Star break, and coming out of the All-Star break, they still have that momentum. They're still in the middle of a road trip. They play the New Orleans Pelicans, the Sacramento Kings, road underdogs in both of those games. And then also their most recent win came against the Portland Trail Blazers, where they had to complete a comeback, but nonetheless they still get the victory. Now, when the Miami Heat was going into the All-Star break, they were the 7th seed, 3 games removed from the All-Star break. They have jumped all the way up to the 5th spot. So all of these games are so important, and we talked about as the games start to become more important, the better the Miami Heat are going to play, because they are just equipped for situations like this. Their coaching, their defense, their personnel, and their experience just gives them the advantage over a lot of teams coming down the stretch of the season. And when I look at the Miami Heat, I think this team has the same team that it's had since the Jimmy Butler era, and that team is just playing defense and getting and squeezing the most out of those role players. And I think what's so scary about the Miami Heat is that this is probably the best roster that they've had in the Jimmy Butler era from top to bottom in terms of talent. I definitely think it's up there when you consider how good Jimmy Butler is right now, and you look at the development of Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, and Tyler Hero, and then you got all these other role players and pieces that's contributing at such a high level. So I think the Miami Heat, and this is so crazy, it's like when one guy out of the big 3, it's like when one comes back, another one goes down. Tyler Hero, he has missed the last couple of games, and then before that, Jimmy Butler was out dealing with the personal issue. So when the Miami Heat, when they get this full team together and they get that cohesiveness, it's no telling how good this team is going to be, and you definitely can't count them out against anyone in a playoff situation, and we're going to talk about why. Now, one thing that I think gets overlooked sometimes that is very important is the Miami Heat's ability to win games on the road. They are one of the best road teams, not just in the Eastern Conference, but in all of the NBA. I think they rank number 5 in the NBA for the best road record, with a record of 18-12, and they are one of them few teams that have a better road record than the record that they have at home. But this is so important, and we just talked about the small advantages that the Miami Heat have over teams going down the stretch, and then this just plays into experience. This just plays into Eric Spoelstra being such a genius on both the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. And then we just saw the Miami Heat, obviously seeding does not matter to this team. Last year as an AFC, not having home court advantage in any of those series, they were able to get all the way to the NBA Finals. So I think their ability to win games on the road, and their playoff experience, and their experience getting into the playoffs, winning play-in tournament games, I think that's going to be beneficial to them down the stretch, even though I don't think they're going to be in the play-in tournament by the time this season is done. So another thing that I believe that is so big time for the Miami Heat, I think they have a top 10 and an MVP caliber player. I didn't say an MVP candidate, but Jimmy Butler, he is just as good as the players that we see in the MVP conversations when the games matter the most. When it's the playoffs time, when it's the play-in tournament time, Jimmy Butler knows how to take his game to a whole new level that can make the Miami Heat a championship contending team. So when you have Jimmy Butler, and now you have have this great nucleus around him, or at least it's a great nucleus in my opinion. The way that this team has been playing when Jimmy Butler has not been playing, when he's on the court and he's not been as aggressive as we see him in the playoffs, and the way guys have been able to step up, I think has been big time. And one guy that's just been fantastic for the Miami Heat so far this season is Jaime Jaquez Jr. Last video, I ain't gonna lie, I slipped up and said Jaquez, and somebody let me know in the comment section. But last video, I was rushing through the video. But Jaime Jaquez Jr., he has been big time for the Miami Heat this season, and he does not look like a rookie at all. And Jaime is having a great season for the Miami Heat. As a rookie, he's averaging 13 points per game to go along with 4 rebounds and 2 assists. He's been efficient from the field, 49% from the field, 32% from the three-point line, and around 83% from the free throw line. Now, what you got to love about Jaime Jaquez Jr. is that he's been a guy that's been able to step up whenever one of the best players on the team are missing for the Miami Heat. When Jimmy Butler doesn't play, he's taking his points per game all the way up to around 16 points per game. He's averaging around 6 rebounds per game, and he's also averaging 4 assists per game. And I also was able to find his stats whenever Tyler Hero doesn't play, and it's nearly identical, around 16 points per game, around 4 rebounds per game, and around 3 assists per game. So he's found a way to step up for Coach Erik Spoelstra and his teammates when they absolutely need it the most. And just watching him with your eyes, put the numbers aside, he's a really good basketball player, and he definitely fits within the system of the Miami Heat because he is a guy that knows how to be effective without the basketball in his hands. He's a great cutter. He's a great screen setter. When it comes to transition basketball, boy, he runs the floor so well, and he knows how to seal those smaller guys. And before Kyle Lowry was traded away, it was really fun watching those two guys. They had some really good chemistry. But nonetheless, Jaquez, he is really good in the half court, and this guy has been so good as a rookie on a team that just went to the NBA Finals last season. He's been able to create an opportunity for himself, for the team to run plays through him, whether it's in the low post, posting up at the elbow, and he just has tremendous footwork. In his last 2 games against the Sacramento Kings and the Portland Trail Blazers, nothing short of spectacular. So they really hit the jackpot drafting him that late in the first round, and it looks like he's going to have a good NBA career for a very long time. And then Duncan Robinson, another guy that just plays into that depth of the Miami Heat, who has just really revived his NBA career. He had the shooting slump going on for a long time, kind of showed signs of breaking out of it in the playoffs last year. And then this year has just been spectacular for Duncan Robinson. And it seems like he's gotten better in literally every aspect of his NBA skill set, shooting the basketball, getting to the mid-range, putting the ball on the floor, creating for his teammates, and finishing around the rim. So Duncan Robinson has been flourishing this year. And then another thing that I think is big time, Bam Adebayo. Bam Adebayo has definitely been working on his game. He has been so much better on the offensive side of the ball. I believe he's about to become the first Miami Heat player to average 20 points per game and 10 rebounds since Shaq. So whenever you can put your name in the same sentence as Shaquille O'Neal, who won the championship with the Miami Heat, you're doing something right. But Bam Adebayo, I really love talking about his game because I think it's very unique. The size that he is, I believe he's around 6'8", 6'9", but he has tremendous length on his arm, so it allows him to play that 5 spot. But offensively, he can really do it all. He has a very underrated face-up game. I think his mid-range is cash money. He has every post move in the book, and then he's one of the best 2-man bigs in all of the NBA. Coming off that screen, he can roll all the way to the rim, supremely athletic. He can catch lobs, great finisher around the rim, can finish with both hands, and it just doesn't stop there. He's a great player on the short roll in those pick and roll situations. He can catch it, knock it down. He can put the ball on the floor, get down to the rim, or he can find an open cutter or an open shooter. So all of these guys, Bam Adebayo being as good as he is, Tyler Hero has gotten better offensively this season. And so talent-wise, I think this is one of the better Miami Heat teams over the last 2 or 3 years. We look at them being able to replace a declining Kyle Lowry with a point guard like Terry Rozier, who I think once he gets acclimated to his new role and his new teammates, he's going to be a lot more impactful for the Miami Heat when he returns from his injury. They've been able to insert Jaime Jaquez Jr., who fits like a glove for the Miami Heat. They still have Hayward Highsmith, who can defend at a very high level. Josh Richardson. They have DeLon Wright, who I like a lot. He is a great on-ball defender, and he gets a lot of steals. Who else do they still have? Kevin Love, who can play at a very high level and who has won an NBA championship and has plenty of playoff experience. It's just so many great role players around the 3 best players on the team, and I feel like this is a better roster than they had last year when they made the run to the NBA Finals. So I think that could be a little bit scary for those other teams in the Eastern Conference. I think the Miami Heat, they're going to be very fun to watch down the stretch of the season and going into the playoffs. And then one more thing before we end it off, the defense. The defense, it's not many teams in the NBA that can play defense like the Miami Heat. I think they have if not the best, one of the best defensive players in the NBA in Bam Adebayo. I say this in every Heat video. He is unreal on the defensive side of the ball. Jimmy Butler is still a high-level defender. And then when one of those guys are off the court or one of those guys are unavailable due to an injury, Eric Spoelstra still finds a way to get effective stops on the defensive side of the ball with different schemes. We all know the Miami Heat are one of the few teams in the NBA that run the zone so frequently, whether it's a 2-3 or a 3-2. That zone just really knocks teams off balance, and it takes them out of their rhythm, and it allows the Miami Heat to play some of their weaker defenders who excel on the offensive side of the ball for longer periods of time. So the Miami Heat, I love the underdog. I take on the underdog personality myself, so I'll always root for teams like the Miami Heat going down the stretch of this season and going into the NBA playoffs. Cannot wait to watch these guys. But that's going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains. And once again, thank you guys so much for helping me get these 5,000 subscribers, man. It means so much. It means so much to me, man. But that's curtains.